Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
It's the podcast that's got comics and cons. It's Guys of a Certain Age. Robbie Koblentz in studio alongside
Art Shirley
and Jay Reed.
The question is, who's the comic?
Who's the comic? Who's the con?
And who's the Comic-Con? A little bit of both. How are you guys doing?
All right.
So, Jay, you okay?
I'm okay.
Are you
I'm
sure?
Okay. It's been kind of a
day.
wild one, yeah.
Yeah. I think Art's, instituted a class action suit against Delta.
Yeah, that's right. They're not ready when you are.
No, they're not ready when
they're
you are.
They're ready when they are.
You got stuck. Was it 2 days extension on your vacation?
Well, no, just a day. We were delayed going up Friday, the day of Crowdstrike, and the first initial day anyway. We were delayed about 3 hours going up, but both of our flights were. So our connecting flight was delayed, and so that worked out okay. We got there, and then coming home. Our flight from Seattle to Atlanta was delayed just, an hour and a half, but enough to miss the GTR flight. And we got there, and we had, knowing we would miss the flight, we had secured a flight on the afternoon flight from Atlanta to GTR. And when we landed, the Delta app said, now you have a flight at 9 p.m. on Wednesday, which was the next day. And I was like, I don't really want to hang around at Atlanta airport all day. So we went to the help desk, and
did they help you?
They did help. They were very helpful, I will say. It was 20 deep when we went in there. It took about 30 minutes to get to somebody. And they said, you're actually booked on both flights. Which flight do you want to be on? I said, we want to be on the earlier flight. And he goes, that's easy. And I did ask for boarding passes at that time because I could not get into the Delta app for the rest of. I mean, it was just like too much traffic, and you could not get in. So I was glad I thought to do that. And then we found a hotel after several tries and went and stayed a few minutes away from the airport. But yeah, it was just they were talking about the shuttle guy from the hotel to the airport the next day was saying they've never had this much hotel business. They've had a lot of folks. We talked about renting a car, and they said, no, you can't get any rental cars at the airport right now. Anything you get has to be round trip. You can't just do a one-way rental. But he said, and this whole thing is going to be my geek. I'll just make this my geek. Crowdstrike, living through Crowdstrike. But he said that one guy rented a U-Haul, went and rented like a U-Haul truck. And took it, and he said it was about the same money, it wasn't that, because he got a day rate from U-Haul plus mileage, and he said it really worked out to be okay. And just dropped it off somewhere.
Plenty of room for your luggage.
And also maybe other paying customers if you wanted to pick up some folks. Yeah, so that's pretty good.
He's the mule.
Yeah, that's right. But we had a great trip otherwise. It was a lot of fun. We went up to Bellingham, Washington to see our younger son, Drew, so it was a lot of fun.
Well, Mark got stuck in Montana an additional 4 days. He was supposed to fly back on a Saturday. He got back on a Wednesday.
Good grief.
And, his flight was 6 a.m. is what it was scheduled for. So, they canceled his Saturday flight like the night before at 11.
Yeah.
And then he was supposed to fly Sunday. And then it got canceled.
Was he on Delta as well?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Delta going to Memphis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said he'll never fly Delta.
That's what a lot of people have. And we used to like that. And we, it can be okay. We had similar delays, actually worse delays going out to Seattle last year from American. And that was another record-breaking day until this one. And
so I need your travel itinerary.
I'm going to Charlotte in August. So,
when?
August 19th.
Okay, we're fine because I'll be going.
I hope the three listeners don't come ransack my home.
Yeah, we'll be. Well, just if they do, I want the pizza oven.
Yeah, that's where Rusty lives, brother of the podcast.
Oh, brother of the podcast.
Yeah, brother of the podcast. I don't have a brother.
Work conference.
What are you talking about? I've got a shoot in Richmond the following week.
Now, Delta was most of the airlines were good to go a couple of days after. Usually, actually by Monday.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. What happened?
Delta
with Delta
uses the same app to schedule their crews. So you would get somewhere and there was not a crew. The plane's here, but we don't have a crew to come fly the plane. So they were. That's what the thing was. They were delayed because they couldn't get in touch with their crews. And
why don't they just call the crews?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I figured the Atlanta to GTR flight was not late the second time because they just called on the cell phone. Hey, we're ready. Yeah, let me finish this drink. We'll head on. But just kidding. Not a non-alcoholic drink. But like they didn't have crews for the sky ramp twice. So like we had to wait for somebody to actually attach the jetway thing, to the plane so we could get off, so we could deplane, and then. Going home, we had to wait for somebody to come and take it away from the airplane. When the same guys that just hooked it up.
It wasn't a little short guy, was it? When he
the plane.
Couldn't resist.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I will never use Crowdstrike for virus software.
Now, Southwest is an airline that was not affected.
Because they're on Windows 95 still.
Seriously, Windows 95.
Windows 95 for the win,
They
baby.
have some stuff that's running on Windows 7. That's the experimental guys that are like, hey,
Kinda
the real
crazy.
nerds are like,
Yeah.
we're doing Windows 7. But yeah, Windows 95, I saw the same thing. And I think that's true. I think that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like, if it ain't fixed, don't broke
Well, that's
it.
why when Y2K came along and everybody was worried about computers going down, I was going to be on the other side of the world where there was very few computers being used.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're good.
Yeah.
And that's what they kept saying. This is fine. This is Y2K 24 years after.
Yeah.
So
it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Talking a little bit about kind of geekage there. So 3 versions of the Mac OS ago, Apple changed where a kernel, where an extension could not impact the kernel, right?
Yeah.
So the kernel's like the
and
heart
this is
of
not
the
the guy that makes fried chicken. by the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
The kernel's like the heart of the operating system. So Microsoft products still extensions, pieces of bolted on software.
Yeah.
What is that?
Sorry, I didn't realize there was going to be.
Yeah.
Can you still hear it?
Jay, do we have your full attention? This is an important.
It's Marvel related, but it's not.
So the Mac operating system does not allow third-party extensions to affect the heart of the operating system like Windows still does.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
This update is supposedly, I wonder who lost their job on this because, somebody did.
I think a lot of people, there's going to be quite a few folks. And, this is what all the IT guys have been warning us about.
Yeah.
This is why you can't install X, Y, and Z. And you stupid IT guys, you had automatic updates on. Do you not know better?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
right.
come
Update
on.
it on something first, see what happens.
That's
and
right.
Then spread it system wide.
Just stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want an IT guy to ever well, you shouldn't have been. It's like, all right, let me see your resume. Did you work for CrowdStrike or Delta? No, you can't talk to me.
Meanwhile, I need to get a new phone because, even with charging up in the plane and everything, my battery is dying. And I'm sitting there going, let me get the hotel reservation, please, before it goes out.
Which iPhone model do you have?
11, so we're looking to update it.
Yeah.
But, now, I don't know, maybe I should be like Southwest.
Yeah. I've got a iPhone 4 back there. And
Go to the
3G.
Robbie's museum. He's probably got something.
I haven't ever traded one in.
Me either. But we're glad you're back, safe and sound, in pretty much one piece.
Thanks. Glad to be back in the area.
In the air. Well,
I won't extend that to anything else.
We had talked about if we could get Mark to Atlanta, we would drive to Atlanta to get Mark.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right, that's your geek. What's your geek, Jay?
My geek, I was scrolling around because I know we're going to talk about all things, a wide number of geek things, and I was bouncing around the interwebs last night on the Marvel site, and I came across a show I hadn't seen before called Marvel Eat the Universe. Have you seen this?
No.
It's been around a while. There's quite a few episodes. It's hosted. It's a quote unquote cooking show hosted by Justin Warner. And if you're not familiar with Justin, he was on the Next Food Network star. I don't think he won his season, but he placed really high, and he's one of these that maybe didn't win that. He might have won. I can't remember. But he's just been consistently showing up. He may not have a show of his own on Food Network now, but he's
those pseudo celebrity chefs who don't win, they milk it for all they could.
They seem to do the best. I think.
Tell you what,
that hang in there. But anyway, he hosted, and All the recipes, they're really short, 5-6 minutes each, and all the recipes are based on a comic or something like that. So
Ghost Rider Baked Alaska.
Ghost Rider Baked
my
Alaska.
gosh.
So it's
That's
the
too
flame,
funny.
of
Yeah,
course.
uh-huh.
Now the funny thing, well, the
Do they have a
sponsored
Mr.
by
Fantastic Taffy?
probably.
No, I don't.
Probably, but he like
My dish
sponsored
was
by
the Invisible Woman souffle.
Right.
Just put an empty plate down.
They need to do that. The one I was in, I watched the Baked Alaska one, and of course it's sponsored by Fudge Brownie M&Ms, and so it's just a Baked Alaska full of M&Ms.
So sink your claws into this Wolverine kebabs recipe.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
I'm sorry. Am I taking these from you, Jay?
No, I was going to talk about I watched the Luke Cage snack mix.
I saw that one
and
too.
it was kind of
Sweet Christmas.
It was well.
Was it a Christmas thing?
Well, he had so he had peanuts. He said because Luke Cage owned a bar, so he had peanuts from the bar snack. Then he had fruit leather, and I forgot what the significance of the fruit leather was, but he chose pineapple because it was yellow, and that's sort of a Luke Cage standard color, I guess.
Yeah, his shirt is.
His shirt's yellow. And then he said he was lived in Harlem, and so he said, well, chicken and waffles. So he had chicken jerky cut into pieces and little tiny waffle cereal. I don't know if it was honeycomb or if there's like a tiny Eggo cereal or whatever. And then he dumped the whole bag of Fudge Brownie, sponsored by Fudge Brownie M&Ms, and took all the yellow ones out and put them in the snack mix.
Okay.
And so it was, sweet and savory and all that. Chicken jerky in a snack mix is unusual, I think.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun and kind of goofy and definitely very much sponsored.
I have not heard of that.
Deadpool chimichangas.
Yeah, there's some interesting connections there.
Tony Stark's gold lobster corn dog. Yeah.
I watched the Nova donut, which is basically just
I saw that.
Just putting Nova colored
Fudge brownie
glaze on a donut. Yeah.
Thor's hammer but meat, so it's a tomahawk ribeye.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Wolverine's Bayou Boil. I don't know.
So Wolverine's in there twice.
It was on a stick, like it was corn and the shrimp or whatever, all on a
Ironheart savory oatmeal.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not saying they're all good. For
Yeah.
sure.
Uncanny Eggs Men.
But if you were good, I guess
Pretty
if you were
good.
going to have a Marvel, and there's supposedly a cookbook, but it was on the cookbook was for sale on boxlunch.com. I went to Box Lunch and I could not find it. There's lots of other cookbooks, but not that. But there was like a tiny crock pot with Marvel logos. There was a panini maker that's had the word Marvel on your sandwich.
I had that Batman logo toaster.
Yeah, same kind of thing. And the
That's
Iron
a-
Man waffle maker.
You can buy it from Amazon right now.
Oh, I'm sure
at your
you could.
house
I don't.
Saturday.
I don't need it.
Let's do it. Let's
But
do
if
it.
you were gonna have-
Let's do it live.
If
on the
you're
podcast.
going to have a Marvel party,
And if you could read out your credit card number.
3783.
Delta will lose it anyway. That's okay.
Crowdstrike sure won't protect it. That's for sure. So well, that's kind of cool.
Could be fun. Could be
Yeah,
fun.
I expect the next time we get together, you have one or two of these.
I'll bring the snack mix.
Yeah, since you have this.
I can find any chicken jerky.
That just sounds disgusting.
Well,
It's just like
I've had
regular
turkey
jerky, but it's
before.
beef jerky. It's just dried strips of chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Zaxby's.
Oh. Well, so much for that sponsorship.
Wow. So anyway, sorry
See
about
what I
that.
can do.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, cool. All right, I've got a couple of geeks. As we are recording,
enough about us.
Yeah, enough about you guys. The first teaser images for Star Wars Skeleton Crew dropped today.
Really? Okay.
That's the Jude Law series coming to Disney Plus December 3rd, and it looks like it's kind of geared towards a little bit of a younger audience.
Okay.
So I remember this being talked about a couple of Comic-Cons ago, but anyway, it's finally
Live or animated?
live. So looks like Jude Law has a bunch of kids he's babysitting. It's like if Space Camp got crossed with Star Wars, I guess. So.
Is he going to hack them all up with his lightsaber at the end of it?
I don't think he is. But you never know.
Dark turn.
Takes a dark turn towards
Dark
the
side turn.
There does look to be a stand-in for Jar Jar Binks for merchandising purposes in one of the images. It looks like a sentient elephant on two legs. I will just turn it around and show you guys the little blue guy there, you see?
Oh, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I've seen him before.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, there's I think he's one of the...
In my nightmares.
I think he's like one of the friends on Phantom Menace, isn't he? Maybe I got that
It could
wrong.
be. I've seen him before. He's not new.
Well, that character will be.
It may be a different show.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. He may be some like Sesame Street.
He wandered
character.
over from another studio.
He's an Artolio, Artolan, Ortolan. His name is Neil.
That's my new nickname.
Neil.
Artolo.
Artelio.
Artolio, whatever it is. So that's I'm going to be curious to see how that comes out. I don't think it's going to be quite as dark as Andor.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I would hope not. So the other thing I found pretty interesting, and I've forgotten about this, Netflix is adapting the arcade game Dragon's Lair. Do you guys remember Dragon's Lair? You remember that, Jay?
I do not.
That was the one that looked like Disney animation, right?
It did. It did.
That was one of the few video games that I remember playing a lot.
Dirk the Daring, and the thing that made Dragon's Lair really popular, special, was it was on Laserdisc, and it was like a choose-your-own-adventure type of video game. And so Ryan Reynolds, it's one of his projects. He's going to be Dirk the Daring.
Is he?
Okay.
And what they originally had done, they had planned it out as being like the Black
Cauldron?
No, not Black Cauldron. Oh, what? Oh, come on! I'm missing it up. No, what's the anthology series that has got? Hold on, I'm looking through. What's the Netflix anthology series imported from Britain that's got the dark takes on?
Oh, Dark Mirror?
Dark Mirror. What was the Dark Mirror
episode
that had a choose your own adventure that you could get
I don't
through?
remember. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Anyway, so they were originally going to do Dragon's Lair like that. They had a 400-page script that would do this entire journey through. And they decided that's probably going to be a little too ambitious, so they've cut it back, and it's going to be a 2-hour movie. Yeah, with Ryan Reynolds as Dirk the Daring.
So, Ryan Reynolds as Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Likely. That'll be fun.
So I don't know if it's going to be animated or if it's going to be live action. So I'm looking. It doesn't say anything at this point. So, but that should be pretty interesting. The project was announced back in 2020. So back as we were starting to get this set podcast going.
Maybe it'll be like a mix, like Roger Rabbit kind of a thing. Animation and live.
Yeah, well,
Probably not.
We'll see what happens. So, but Ryan Reynolds would be kind of fun.
I think he could play. I could see him in that part.
Yeah. Does Ryan Reynolds ever play anything other than himself?
I don't think so. I mean, I enjoy his movies, but yeah, if you're looking for something that's a little different.
Yeah. So anyway.
I mean, you could almost picture the movie now.
Yeah.
Actually, it's going to be live action.
Oh, okay.
So that should be interesting. So I wonder if they'll take the dragons from House of the Dragon and bring them over. Jay, are you watching House of the Dragon?
Yeah, I'm an episode
Did you call him Jerry?
behind.
Jay.
I thought you said Jerry, which is his name.
Jay, are you watching?
I am. I'm not caught up, but I am definitely watching.
Are you enjoying it so far?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. I think I may like it a little bit better than Game of Thrones.
I've heard other people say that.
Yeah.
That they're enjoying it more than Game of Thrones.
It's got some dark turns to it, but yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it really does. Don't lose your head. Ooh. All right. Well, that's right. So I think it's time for
Jay's Regrettable Segment, today brought to you by Zaxby's. Yes, Zaxby's, proud sponsor of Guys of a Certain Age.
At least they were for the first half of the break. So, yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
Computer Colonel Sanders. Brought to you by Crowdstrike.
Yeah. They're the only folks that's the only thing that can bring you. Yeah.
Which you never hear on podcast.
No. It would just be silence.
That's right.
So, all right. Sorry, Jay, it's your time to shine.
Which may be preferable to Jay's Regrettable Segment.
What you got?
This one is interesting.
We'll be
coming from okay, so Regular Fellers Heroic Comics is the where this came from. And if you look at I'm just going to show you the it kind of looks like Little Abner as far as the things, but no, it is not. It is Rainbow Boy.
Oh my gosh.
Wrong
Rainbow Boy.
1942. The origin story has something to do with let's see, who is this guy? I've had this in my notes for quite a while. Well, heck, whoever it is. Oh, Jay Watson. Oh, his name is Jay. Okay, or Jerry, maybe.
Jay Watson is Rainbow Boy?
Jay Watson is Rainbow Boy. While experimenting with light at his home, he discovered that he could supercharge his body with powerful energy. And so, calls him a boy genius, blah, blah, blah. He can fly at the speed of light along a rainbow, or in his kind of a rainbow in his wake. He can use rainbows to form barriers, bridges, etc. His sidekick was, okay, let's talk about his uniform. He has a rainbow crest on his helmet. He's got just an R, kind of looks like Robin on his belt, and then there's a rainbow across his chest. It's not...
It sounds so much like a parody.
It is. It does. It really does. His teamed up sometimes with Hydro Man. Does that surprise anyone?
No.
Who could turn to water, and he could control bodies of water, et cetera, et cetera. So he debuted in Hydro Man. He lasted about 9 issues, 9 appearances, and that's it.
That's it. Okay.
That's it. So,
did he have any particular weakness?
There was none.
Lack of light or water.
No, I guess if it was dark and dry, you're out of luck. You fight crime on your own.
He dies in the desert. Yeah.
Right.
Well, regrettable.
Yeah, definitely regrettable.
Yeah, I mean, I think it opened as regrettable, and then it just went even more from there.
Yeah. No, I can see
clearly now
a different
that the rainbow's
name,
gone.
For sure. Different name, different uniform. The whole idea
Prism Man.
The idea of using the color. I mean, I think you could do something with that.
Well, there were villains. There was Batman had a villain that was I can't remember who it is, but it was a Prism kind of related dude, and he wasn't Kite Man. Heck yeah.
Which is great.
Oh, you are liking it, really?
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. It's
and Kite Man is probably one of those that on the surface would be regrettable, and they found a way to resurrect him.
Yeah.
You watched?
I watched a half an episode, and I was like, I don't know.
Oh, it is tasteless. It is profane. It's the type of thing that you would probably enjoy. Sorry, Mrs. Reed.
Actually, I have been watching that kind of stuff, so
Well, I mean, the tasteless and the profane just seemed to be all of it. It just there didn't seem to be much else there.
Their take on Bane is hilarious.
All right, I may have to check it out.
Yeah, and Lance Reddick is Lex Luthor. It's his last role.
Oh, really?
Before he passed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious. So, Kite Man. Heck yeah. So, sorry, Mrs. Reed. So, I don't think Mrs. Reed
won't be watching it now.
No.
I haven't given
her
her
my
my
listening
Max.
anymore.
Yeah.
She doesn't have my Max password.
I signed up for the Max Disney Hulu bundle the other night.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a Max Disney Hulu bundle?
Max Disney Hulu bundle. It's $30 a month, and it's ad-free for all 3 of those services.
Wow.
It's a little jumping through hoops, though, since I had separate accounts for each of them.
Well, I tried to do Hulu and Disney earlier when I already had Disney for a year, and it wouldn't let me bundle it. So
had to jump through some Hulu.
You'll have to give us some hoop jumping lessons later.
Yeah, Hulu jumping lessons. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk San Diego Comic-Con. And we're back. We are going to talk San Diego Comic-Con. So
none of us went.
No, none of us went. We talk about it. We never do.
And I was thinking, granted it's not close, but I was on the West Coast. I mean, it's the top of the West Coast to the bottom of the West Coast. But I'm thinking, well, as long as we're going to be delayed anyway, why not go get delayed in San Diego and go to Comic-Con? Although I don't think you can just walk into Comic-Con.
Yeah, well, I would love to see some stats on how, because now obviously, and we'll talk more about this specifically, but this is the place to debut things from all the big studios.
Yeah.
What was it at the beginning? Like, how much
comic
has
books.
It grown?
It was
just
comic books.
Just
yeah.
comic books.
Yeah.
It was a comic book and kind of, nerd culture at best. You might have some Star Trek folks there. You might have some Star Wars folks there, but there weren't really, the movie theaters weren't really there until, probably the last, it's been maybe 15 years, 10 years, but it started out as truly a comic book convention.
I went to Panopticon in New Orleans in '84, I believe.
Yeah.
That's a Doctor Who convention, and that was a huge Doctor Who convention for the time. I mean, you had Colin Baker, who was playing the Doctor at that point, and Nicholas Courtney, the guy who played Lethbridge Stewart. I can't remember his name. Rest in peace. You had the the big room where you could buy almost anything. I mean, comics, you could buy Doctor Who memorabilia.
Yeah.
They had a room going where they're watching old episodes constantly. You know, it was pretty fun. I can only imagine what Comic-Con in San Diego.
Yeah, I still would like to go.
absolutely.
But I do think you have to get tickets way in advance,
Yeah.
even to go walk the floor.
Well, and Hall H is the largest hall there.
Right, and that's where everything. I mean, that's where the big
room where
news
it
comes from.
happens.
It's
Yeah.
the room where it happens. That's right.
Yeah. Thank you, Hamilton. So, well, let's just jump into it. So, to me, the big news was the Marvel, and there was a few other things. I mean, I think DC didn't have. Did they have a? I don't. Think
I haven't heard any news from DC. On that.
They did some trailers. I mean, I don't know if they had a Hall H thing or not. But
Their
I mean,
next year is probably going to be their big San
Yeah.
Diego.
I would think so.
yeah.
So the first big thing is the reveal that the Russo brothers have come back to direct Avengers 5 and 6.
Yes.
So what do you guys think about Marvel bringing the Russos back?
I think that's great. I really think that's good news. I mean, I know they had left and they had, I think, an exclusive deal with Netflix.
Yeah.
Was it Netflix? Not Amazon, right?
One of them.
And they were developing like that spy series that kind of did not do well.
They said they were done with superhero properties.
Yeah. They washed their hands of it, and then I guess the money was right. Or
Yeah, did you watch the little clip of them
million.
speaking?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, because they basically said, we were just spent.
Yeah.
We were worn out. We'd done these four or five movies.
and that's understandable.
And, our
'Cause they're-
imaginations were just kind of kaput, but I guess they're not now.
And they're such big, all-encompassing projects. Yeah. So
Well, the rumor is that they were paid $80 million to come back.
wow, is that
So-
for each brother? Or does one?
That'll
I
really,
think that's split between.
Stimulate your imagination.
Yeah, and there's escalators in if the
Movie
the
does
movies
well.
do
Back end
X,
stuff.
Y, whatnot. So that is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
So, so Jonathan Majors being dispatched as Kang.
Yeah. So that's changed the whole
Yeah.
arc of the story that they were going to go with. And some people said they need to finish it off. Well, a lot of people think the Loki series was an appropriate end to that character.
Yeah.
I know they had bigger plans for it, but they're moving on with possibly another villain.
Yeah, and so that was the big reveal, was that they were going to make the next Avenger. It's Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah,
is going to be Avengers 5,
Yeah.
and then Avengers 6 is going to be Secret Wars. And so the question was, who's going to play Victor Von Doom, Doctor Doom, and then they had the big reveal.
Yeah.
And Robert Downey Jr. is back.
I love the way they did it.
Yeah, that was
really
It was a
cool.
great reveal.
Same mask, different
task.
No, different mask, same task.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Yeah. So
And his pose that he comes out in is basically the one from the original Iron Man where the bombs are blowing up behind him.
yeah, exactly. So,
But he's not. I mean, we keep hearing different versions. He is playing Victor Von Doom. He's not necessarily playing Tony Stark, becoming Doctor Doom. That's because they said in there he's playing Victor Von Doom. I think.
Okay, I didn't catch that.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that's probably have
Is
been
Victor
written.
Von Doom different than Doctor Doom? Because
No, Doctor Doom traditionally, classically, Victor Von Doom is a friend of Reed Richards and becomes Doctor Doom.
Okay.
There's also some story things where Tony Stark has some kind of episode and becomes a Doctor Doom.
Okay.
I think I read that right. I'm not familiar with it, but that's what I saw in there. So people are saying, is he going to be a Tony Stark variant becoming Doctor Doom, or is he a Victor Von Doom variant becoming Doctor Doom, or is he just like he's from another universe, so he looks like Tony Stark, or maybe he is Tony Stark? I don't know.
And Doctor Doom has been in. He was in one of the or more of the original Fantastic Four movies, right?
He was in all of the. He was in the Roger Corman version of it, and he was in the one with Miles Teller. And I think he was in the one with the one with Jessica Alba and Chris
So it
Evans.
seems
Chris
then
Evans.
that will play into the Fantastic Four movie, and all that will kind of
Yeah.
together.
So we have not seen Wolverine and Deadpool yet, as we record, planning to go tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But there's
something that leads us into this.
it does.
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk about that.
And Fantastic Four, the villain for that is going to be Galactus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Doctor Doom may not come into play with the Fantastic
This
Four
one.
movie. Now, he may, now that the reveals, there may be something like in an end credit scene or whatever.
So were you guys surprised by Robert Downey?
Oh yeah, I
coming
was very
back?
surprised.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I knew
heard
he wanted to come back, but I assumed it would be in some version of Iron Man.
Yeah, I thought he might come back as Tony Stark, being a mentor to Ironheart, possibly, or continuing to be a mentor to Spider-Man, but not necessarily putting the armor on again.
Yeah.
But I was very, very surprised with this announcement.
He doesn't need the money at this point.
I wouldn't think so. No, I think he just wants to do it because it probably was just enough of a twist on the character to go, okay, this might be interesting to do. You know, he said I love playing complicated characters.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Did you have a choice? Did you have an idea who might be a good Dr. Doom had RDJ not been? Cillian Murphy was a lot of people's choice for that.
I see that.
Yeah. I mean, if you're trying to recapture the magic of the Avengers in the MCU, because it's been fairly flat since Endgame.
Yeah, and they really do need to recapture the magic somehow.
So you go back, you get the Russo brothers, you get RDJ, you maybe talk Chris Evans to come in to do something. I mean, you know, the multiverse opens a lot of possibilities. So, and I can't wait to see Wolverine and Deadpool to see what all they bring in, because apparently that's the crux for everything going forward. So,
and I've seen some spoilers, but probably not enough to actually spoil the movie for us yet when we go see it tomorrow. But what I've seen is interesting.
So Fantastic Fours.
I thought you guys. So here's a list of spoilers.
Yeah, here's a list of spoilers.
Here's Fantastic Four.
So Fantastic Four, they showed some key art. They showed a few scenes or some stills from their movie set in the 60s called First Steps.
Okay.
What do you think about that name for a Fantastic?
I hadn't heard that.
Had you not?
I missed that.
Yeah, then the director was talking about the 60s things. Is it 60s, but it's like future retro 60s.
Very
kind of like the
very
Jetsons.
Yeah. So,
how will they be brought into? I mean, I know we have a multiverse, but
I think I'm
gonna
sure
be in
there'll
the
be some
60s,
Galactus being the galactic type villain that he is will probably open something that pulls them into.
Okay.
In their battle with him, I imagine there's something that happens. That
so they could be a part of the Avengers movies.
You would think, but you never. Yeah,
you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
So,
but First Steps, no, I hadn't heard that. That's interesting to me.
I'm seeing if I can find artwork.
So it's an origin story again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and there is. I'm trying to find it to show it to you. They are on Fantastic Four's on like a game show set.
Yeah.
And so it's a high backlight key on the characters, and the face is in darkness, and you've got the classic Ben Grimm
thing.
Look.
Okay, good deal.
So which looks really, really cool.
Yeah. See, I remember when the actor Eben, whatever his name is, was announced, but I had not watched the
Just
Bear.
call him Cousin.
Yeah, I had not watched the Bear before that, so now I've watched the Bear, and I'm going back and I'm saying, oh wait, that's Cousin. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the kind of the rough and tumble.
I did see like either artwork or a model of the.
That's the logo. Yeah.
Of the Fantasticar.
Yeah,
that looks good.
Came flying through the room as they were heading back to London to finish filming.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty interesting.
When does that release?
Next summer.
Next summer. Okay.
Yeah. So we've got between now and then we have Daredevil Born Again.
Limited series.
And that may be it before. Well, no, we've got Ironheart at some point, too.
Okay.
So that may be.
So Thunderbolts is next year as well?
Oh, yeah, and Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Yeah. With Red Hulk.
Red Hulk, yeah.
That was a cool announcement, too, because they brought in Harrison Ford right at the end of the, all the other actors were out there, and then Harrison Ford comes running in. No, actually, that was on.
Entertainment Tonight.
No, the Captain America movie. He's going to be in Captain America movie. He wasn't actually even on the stage with the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Captain America 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is going to get us to Thunderbolts. So we're just missing all kinds of things. So, but that was kind of the Marvel. Yeah, the big news was RDJ and then the Russo brothers. We got some Star Trek updates. The first look at season 3 of Strange Worlds.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, the 5 minutes it dropped was hilarious.
The first time I saw that was when you sent the screen capture to us, and then I've seen it since then. But gosh, dog, that hair! I mean, he really looks like Johnny Bravo.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, The Starfleet Academy.
They're all Vulcans, by the way.
Yeah, they all get turned into Vulcans, and they constantly remind Spock that he is not full Vulcan. That was great. Starfleet Academy is moving forward, and Robert Picardo, who is the holographic doctor for Voyager, has joined that cast. Section 31's happening.
Oh, really?
So Michelle Yeoh is in that, and they've made it look a lot like basically the Star Trek version of Suicide Squad.
Okay.
So that looks pretty
good. And that's
good.
Section 31 is the time travel stuff, right?
Yeah, it's got some time travel stuff, but Section 31 is like Dark Ops and Starfleet.
Yeah, okay.
You know, because if you recall Star Trek Into Darkness, Section 31 was involved with Benedict Cumberbatch's version of Khan.
Yeah, and I think they first brought it up in Enterprise.
Yeah.
Peter Weller played a character from Section 31.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very film noirish kind of guy.
Yeah. And so you've got that happening. DC dropped their Creature Commandos trailer,
really?
Which is all
for that.
animated. So,
Yeah.
You know, I saw a headline from DC. I don't know if it was an announcement there or just a discussion, but they were talking about the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever and how it was out there, could be released. It needed about $1 million to clean it up. But
is that to add more nipples?
We'll move on from there. But yeah, they were saying it's like a 2.5 hour or something that was a little bit darker. Kind of almost like the other one, like the Batman cut. But anyway, have you heard anything about that?
No.
Is that a thing at all? So, but they said that the funny part was they were talking about how, you know, DC had changed ownership so many times, and every time they changed ownership, it got canned temporarily. But this is off of Gizmodo, and they said maybe worth it to see the totality of Val Kilmer's In the Mouth of Madness inspired interplay with a giant humanoid bat. Given the film's vintage, there may be even a way to make it tax deductible. We know they like that over there.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Interesting.
Well, speaking of Batman Cape Crusader is dropping on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
August 1, tomorrow as we record.
And there's a geek in there that I forgot about. Did you see who's playing the Penguin?
No.
Minnie Driver.
Really?
They've gender swapped the Penguin. Now she's, Oswalda Cobblepot, which everybody's saying, you know, it's okay if you gender swap her, but couldn't you have come up with a better name than Oswalda? So,
to me, it's interesting that this got pushed out at Max. Prime bought it. You know, apparently, you know, Warner Brothers, Max, whoever they are this week, they don't care about their brand stuff getting diluted. So, I mean, because you've got Batman Cape Crusader at Prime.
Paramount Little Batman in Prime.
Yeah. Paramount has let Star Trek Prodigy end up over at Netflix. The only thing I can think of is it takes the royalties off Max or Paramount and pushes them to payment from a different streaming platform. That's the only thing I can think of.
Do you think it may be a way to build up interest so you can watch something on another platform and then they'll pull it at some point and you go, well, I really like that. If I want to see the rest of these episodes, I need to go.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just bizarre.
So Batman Cape Crusader, you said, launches tomorrow as we record.
Yeah.
Y'all looking forward to that? Watching that?
Too,
it's animated. I'm going to watch it. It's set in the 40s. It's a
Bruce Timm project, the guy that did the original or did the Batman the Animated Series back in the 90s.
very noir.
Yeah.
So
it's supposed to be more adult than
did Kevin Conroy was this? He didn't. He had deceased before this. So
I think the last thing he did was a video game. He and Mark Hamill were together on whatever the video game that was.
So that looks pretty cool. So looking forward to that. But yeah, we need to make the trek to Comic-Con one day. Somebody needs to be playing the lottery for us.
We need a sponsor. Yep.
Well, we've run off Applebee's. I mean, not Applebee's or Zaxby's.
Yeah.
You know. So or I
see the
maybe Zaxby's will pay for you two.
Yeah. Did you see the Rings of Power trailer? That
From
was,
SDCC?
I think. Well, I was reading the thing about all the things that were dropped at SECC, and this was underneath it.
I'm sure it was.
So maybe it wasn't, but it was a big 5-minute trailer. From
Have
Rings
not seen
of Power.
that yet.
I did.
It looks to have a lot more action.
Okay.
Than season 1.
Oh, and Agatha All Along's coming out around Halloween, so there's a lot of Marvel content coming. Sorry, I misspoke. That I'm looking forward to Rings of Power. I believe.
Yeah, I think it'll be more
More better.
More better.
More powerful.
Yeah.
More ringy.
More. Well, there's definitely rings in it, but the rings didn't look like I expected them to.
I didn't watch it. What do they look like?
They're just like I opened my wife's jewelry box with different gems and different colors. And
I think
things.
that's the whole idea.
I thought it was just going to be all like the golden ring that's in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Well, that's the ring of power. That's the one ring to rule them all, the one ring to bind them, the one ring to bring them all in the darkness. No, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all in the darkness bind them.
Gotcha.
In the land of Mordor where the shadows lie.
There's a lot of rings in this one, and they seem to play a major role.
Yeah.
Similar kind of role too.
If you look at Peter Jackson's Fellowship of the Ring, they show the rings of the dwarves and the elves and whatnot, and they are somewhat different. You see them kind of cut away.
Okay.
So I'm sure these are not Jackson authenticated rings, but anyway. So, anything else from San Diego? Comic-Con Chameleon.
Let's see. I can't read my notes. So.
Oh.
No. That says Rings of Power. I got it.
Hey.
Rings
All right.
of
Good
Power.
deal.
So
We'll talk more about this when we have seen Deadpool. But I just think it's fascinating to mention because they did have like a choir in Hall H, the Deadpool Wolverine. I forget what they called them. Chorus, and they sang the song, and everybody's coming down in their cosplay and dancing through the thing. And it's just been amazing to me how many different ways this movie has been marketed.
Yeah.
And didn't they actually show the whole movie in Hall H?
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to be. It's the highest gross rated
R
movie
ever. Yeah.
So anyway, should be fun.
We'll come back to that.
We hope to. So, we done? We done?
I think so.
Sure.
Time for lunch, right? Maybe. Who knows? Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time around.